So let's look at the things we need to note when using enough and to. Let's bring your understanding of these structures to the next level. Let's look at the first thing. So I'd like you to compare enough and to, just so that the meaning is even clearer for you. So first of all, enough. This bed is big enough. What does it mean? It means it is a good size for me. That's what I'm trying to say. This bed is big enough. It's a good size for me. It's perfect. Let's use the negative form now. This bed is not big enough. What does this mean? I'm trying to say it needs to be bigger. It's not sufficient for me. Because I'm big, the bed is small, it's not big enough. Now let's use too. This bed is too big. This means it needs to be smaller. It's too big for me. It's more than is necessary. So it needs to be smaller. So that's a comparison of enough and to, just so that you can understand them better. Let's move on to the second thing that we should note. We can use enough without a noun if we mention the noun before, or if we know what the person is talking about. So one of the structures, remember, is enough plus noun. But if we know what the noun is, we can leave it out. So look at this example of Jane and Paul talking to each other. Jane says, I'm going to buy some more wine for the guests. Paul replies, no, we have enough. So here he's just used enough because he's just trying to say we have enough wine. Jane mentioned wine, so Paul doesn't have to repeat it. You can mention wine if you like. Paul could say, no, we have enough wine, but it's not necessary. We can delete it if we wish, if the meaning is clear. Let's look at the next thing we should note for these two structures. We can use much and many with to. Much is for uncountable nouns. Many is for countable nouns. Look at these examples. I ate too much ice cream today. I feel really sick now. So here I've used much to mean the quantity was a lot. And ice cream is an uncountable noun. We cannot count it. So we should use much. The second example, there were too many people at the beach today. We couldn't sit down anywhere. So here I've used many because people is a countable noun. We can say 2 people, 3 people, 4 people. That means it's countable. So use many. Here's the next thing that we have to note. Very often we use for somebody or for something, which is a noun, with enough and to. So look at this example using enough. Our school doesn't have enough space for the children. So for is talking about who the problem affects. It affects the children. Second example, we're using to. That t-shirt is too big for you. Who does the problem affect? It affects you. That t-shirt is too big for you. So when using for, it can be omitted. It's not necessary, but it makes the meaning much, much clearer. If I say, our school doesn't have enough space, this means the problem is affecting everyone. But if I want to focus who the problem affects, if I'm thinking about the children, the students, I can say, our school doesn't have enough space for the children. So I'm thinking about the children. It's affecting them more than anyone else. Similarly, if I say, that t-shirt is too big, we probably know who it's affecting. If I'm talking to my friend face to face and he's wearing a t-shirt, I say, that t-shirt's too big. The meaning is clear, but if I say, that t-shirt is too big for you, the meaning is even clearer. It means for your body, for your shape, the t-shirt is too big. Get a smaller one. Let's look at the last thing that we have to note. Very often we use to do something, a verb, with enough and to. Look at this first example. The weather isn't warm enough to have a picnic today. So you're giving the reason why you said the weather isn't warm enough. It isn't warm enough to have a picnic today. Look at the second example. She is too young to drink alcohol. So if I just say she is too young, the person won't know what I'm talking about. Too young for what? Too young to do what? So I say she's too young to drink alcohol. So I hope those things to note have made everything much clearer and developed your understanding of enough and to. Make sure you move on to the practice exercises, the speaking and the listening. And don't forget to download the MP3s. Listen to them as much as you can. This will help you to really understand and master all these grammar structures. See you in the next lecture.